All right. Welcome back to all the creatures of the night to Talking Taker, the podcast that is digging up the career of the dead man, the greatest WWE performer of all time, exploring his legendary career one pay-per-view match at a time. Thank you for joining us on this journey. My name is Alex Doriot. I'm joined alongside my co-host and tag team partner, Travis White. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. Finally out of that bathroom we recorded last weekend.
Yeah, so if last week's episode sounded like it was recorded in a bathroom, that's because it was.
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Perry Saturn.
Exactly.
I was on vacation, and so didn't have a great place to record, so just settled down in the bathroom, and we got it done. Got the episode out. That's all that matters. So thanks for listening to it, and hope it didn't sound too terrible. We're amateurs. We're still working on the sound quality. Like I said before, we're not professional wrestlers at all. Certainly, we don't have any inside scoop on the business, and not professional podcasters either. So open to tips and open to helpful hints and anything like that for anybody else on how to best record this stuff. I'm over here in outside of Atlanta, and Travis is outside of Tennessee and Virginia, depending on the day.
Yep. Right now I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah, we're just on the Skype call and trying to do our best, but we appreciate you listening and sitting through all that nonsense or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. So here we are.
Here we are.
Undertaker has won his first World Heavyweight Championship, WWF Championship, whatever they called it back then. WWF World Heavyweight Championship title belt, whatever.
I think that's right.
6 days ago, and now we're at this Tuesday in Texas on December 3rd, 1991. So only 6 days after SummerSlam.
Or Survivor Series.
I mean Survivor Series, yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote SS on my notes, and I always think SummerSlam because it just passed. So yeah, Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So Survivor Series ends with The Undertaker. It ends with a great promo that also starts off this Tuesday in Texas.
Here in the catacombs, in the bowels, if you will, of Joe Louis Arena, where I have finally found the new World Wrestling Federation champion, The Undertaker. Manager Paul Bear, you cannot be happy with the decision of President Jack Tunney ordering the rematch this Tuesday in Texas with your man, The Undertaker, facing the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Oh, Mr. Okerlund, nothing is immortal, not even Hulkamania. Hulkamania died right here this very evening, oh yes. And normally, Mr. Okerlund, when something dies, you hold the services almost immediately. But not in the case of Hulkamania. We'll hold him over, yes, right in the embalming room of my funeral parlor. And sometime between now and Tuesday, we will eviscerate him. Oh yes, eviscerate his gluing flesh. Oh, that stench.
We warned you what was in store for Hulk Hogan. And now, Mr. Okerlund, let me enlighten you what we have in store for Hulkamania. Look into the coffin. You look, Mr. Okerlund. Look, Hulkamania. It died in Survivor Series. Now, the only thing left is this Tuesday. The burial.
So it ends with The Undertaker saying he's killed Hulkamania. Hulkamania is dead, and all that's left is to bury it. It's a great promo underneath, in quotation marks,
Underneath,
the
yeah.
Joe Louis Arena.
Yeah, on Tuesday he's going to bury Hulk Hogan, he says. So.
And we're at this Tuesday in Texas, a interesting pay-per-view experiment for the WWF at the time. So generally, or what they'd had before, was you had Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. And that'd been the case for a couple years. Survivor Series was a few years old at the time. It was the most recent pay-per-view added. So you had your 4 pay-per-views a year. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, WWF adds a 5th pay-per-view less than a week later. In a real interesting experiment. Trying to test the waters of if they can move from not just having a few pay-per-views a year, but weekly pay-per-views. And trying to test out that back-to-back model, and they build it off of this controversy of The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan's title change, and also a big Jake the Snake, Randy Savage blood feud that's going on, which has a incredible angle that they do here. That maybe we can talk about that later too. But it's a real interesting thing. Had you ever seen this pay-per-view before?
I had not ever before I watched it. As we were going to review this, I watched a lot of it actually, and I'd never seen it before. I'd always heard about it. I mean, once the network came out, I wanted to watch it, but I'd never seen it until we started talking about this. And so this is the first time I've ever seen this match as well. So
yeah,
it was neat. But do you think it was like a house show they had, and they just decided to, build the angle around it, and say they're going to put it on, or do you think they made it, book this show as a pay-per-view? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think that they.
First? I don't know.
I think that they already had the date booked. It looks like it was a TV taping. I was reading through the history of WWE site, and so yeah, I'm sure they just had the date booked. I don't know when the decision came along to turn it into a pay-per-view thing, but it was not a success at the time. Yeah, not at all. They didn't do it for a long. They never did This Tuesday in Texas again, so obviously it wasn't a success.
It's a one and done.
But I read that the buy rate of it was half of the Survivor Series the week before. So Survivor Series did like 280,000 buys on pay-per-view, and then This Tuesday in Texas only did 140,000 buys. So I guess it's weird. Like they were doing Survivor Series back then during the week, on Thanksgiving Eve, like we talked about.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday. Yeah.
So that. I guess you could do that when kids had school out, but doing a pay-per-view just on a Tuesday night, I'm sure a lot of people were working, a lot of people had school, they're probably not going to spend money on a pay-per-view, and especially when they'd just done it and they weren't used to doing it, spending that much money back-to-back at the same time. So, but it's an interesting failure, I think, because obviously nowadays we live at a time where we have the WWE Network and we have... I don't know, 15, 16 pay-per-views a year, plus you've got Mae Young Classic and NXT takeovers and all these other live events. And that's, I think, what Vince McMahon wanted all along, 26 years ago. It took a long, long time to get there, but this pay-per-view is kind of an interesting genesis of that whole idea that we have now.
Yeah, and I know listening to like Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he talks about In Your House. He talks about that. They wanted to kind of do the, trying the monthlies, and they want to try to see if they could do a weekly type thing too. So, which is a precursor to the original TNA, model.
They tried it too
on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights back in 2002, they had a $9.99 or whatever it was, and you paid for it. So this seems like the like you said, the predecessor to all of those things, which is so cool. Because even now we get Beast from the East. They're just in Japan. They're like, oh, let's just put this on network. Like, let's just stream live. So, which is really cool to think about because, Vince McMahon obviously had this vision, 26 years ago, which is pretty cool.
I loved that Beast from the East show. That was fun. Waking up super early to watch that too. That was. I wish they'd do more of that.
Yep.
You could almost even say this is like a precursor to Monday Night Raw, even because Survivor Series ends. Yep. And there's big controversy, and so you got to tune in next week and see the big, the blow-off, see the next angle, like this weekly storytelling thing, which didn't really happen. Like everything was this slow process back then. And here you got the angle, you got the storyline, and tune in next week to see the results of it. And that's what we get now with Monday Night Raw. So in a way, it's a really interesting failure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because we take for granted that Raw's on now, but Raw didn't start till was it January
93
or something, 93. So yeah, a couple months from this, a year and a couple months from this. So yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect because there was so much time in between there's only 4 big shows, and you got, Saturday night's,
Saturday night's main event, yeah.
Yeah, and superstars were wrestling or whatever it was, and so they had to build those stories along that, and that's kind of why shows like Survivor Series were so cool, as you were mentioning, is that you finally get all the big stars on there, So yeah, this kind of is a precursor to Raw. I never thought about it that way. Pretty cool observation.
Well, like we said, it wasn't a success, but I guess not for lack of trying.
Right.
And the matchup here is once again the rematch: The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan. The Undertaker's only pay-per-view title defense, but I did see that he did have a couple house show defenses. Do you know who was against? Who he defended the title against? Like
in the 6 days in between?
Yeah. He had 3 house show defenses.
I didn't look it up.
All against the same guy, against the British Bulldog.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can go on YouTube and you can find one of them. Just search for Undertaker British Bulldog, and there's one from that weekend. It's got French commentary to it, but it looks like it took place in Canada. But yeah, it's the only time you'll see him besides this match coming out with the championship. So
wow,
yeah, interesting little footnote.
It is interesting. They did a lot of shows back then too. Then
oh my goodness,
that was on a Wednesday and this was on Tuesday, and he defended the title 3 times in between there against Bulldog. That's crazy.
I think 2 of them might have been on the same day. Like they were running morning shows and afternoon shows, and they had a show on Thanksgiving. Like they had a show the night after Survivor Series.
Really?
So,
wow.
They were working every day back then, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, really crazy. So like we said, there's a great promo that we get to see between Hogan, or between Undertaker and Paul Bearer. Hulk Hogan cuts another promo on this show, or he didn't do one on Survivor Series, but he definitely cuts one on this one. He's feeling real jacked about this match. He's excited to be there. And Undertaker struts out to the ring. Just comes out of the ring first, right?
Yep.
Dragging the title just behind him. Like we talked about his gimmick, like he doesn't break that character, and the character back then he probably wouldn't have even cared that they had the title, so he's just bringing it out there with him.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like I said, I mentioned last episode about how he doesn't have the Shawn Michaels boyhood dream reaction. He doesn't come out wearing it. You're right. He just drags it, kind of like a caveman. Just drags the title kind of behind him, and it's not a big deal. Which is really cool to see, because I'm sure it was inside. He's only like 26 years old, I think, at this point. So, I did found that note. He was at this time he was the youngest WWF champion in history.
Okay.
At this point, I think Yokozuna takes that title away from him. As the youngest champion once Yokozuna wins it. But at this point, he is the youngest WWF champion in history.
Interesting.
Yokozuna would take that, and then Brock Lesnar would take that, and then Randy Orton would take that. So
yeah,
that was pretty.
I didn't think
cool.
about that.
26 years old, so I'm sure inside he's buzzing. Like this is great. Even though it's only 6 days, but his character couldn't possibly care that much about it, so he's just dragging it. So, and as he comes out, Heenan mentions again that he's undefeated. So, Bobby Heenan again on commentary, awesome as always, and he's like he's undefeated, and we'll see when he gets his first defeat, which will be spoiler alert right here
in about 10 minutes.
yeah, about 13 minutes and 9 seconds from now.
So this was longer than the Survivor Series.
This is longer than Survivor Series, by like whatever 25, 30 seconds or something. So,
the match officially starts, and it should have ended by disqualification, right?
Yep.
Right after the bell rang.
Yeah.
Because Paul Bearer, the bell rings, and then Paul Bearer and Undertaker attack Hulk Hogan. Beat him down right in front of the referee.
There's that, and then he sits up after an atomic drop or Manhattan drop, I guess. Technically, he's facing Hulk Hogan, so it's a Manhattan drop. And then body slam. He gets body slammed, and he sits up, and he goes over the top rope and chokes Hulk on the outside. And there is absolutely no 10 count from the referee, and commentary points it out. So referee here is not calling for the DQ and not issuing the 10 count on the outside. And the referee is making it apparent. I mean, the commentary is bringing it out. So we can all say, why is he not counting to 10? So,
and he chokes him right in front of Jack Tunney, too, WWF president, who is sitting at ringside to monitor the controversy from the Survivor Series show. So he chokes him right in front of him, too.
Yeah, lots and lots of choking again.
Lots of choking.
Again, this match wouldn't fly today, get boring chants and all that. And also, I noticed Undertaker does a choke and the ref counts to 5 twice and doesn't DQ him.
Doesn't break him. He's afraid of him. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And they mentioned that, like, well, this referee's not going to, he's backing off the Undertaker. Maybe he's letting him have some, free reign here. So that was kind of neat, because he's going to tell the Undertaker you're disqualified, So,
right. But you talked last episode about Hogan acting like a heel. He bites the Undertaker. He pulls his bandana off, puts it on top of Undertaker. He's doing the 10 punches in the corner and just bites his face.
Yeah,
so he gives it right back to him.
Oh, that's great. This is the pre Hollywood Hogan. Hulk Hogan is already a heel, though.
Definitely.
Great.
Definitely.
And in this, I believe that is this the first match we see him do the what we call old school in?
It's the first time I noticed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember him doing it at the other matches we've reviewed, but he does the top rope,
the rope walk.
Yeah, which nowadays we call it old school, but back then they wouldn't have called it that. But
it's new school.
Yeah, exactly. Commentary didn't they didn't play it up like it was the first time though. They were like, look how agile. So he must have done it before on some of the syndicated shows or whatever.
Yeah.
But I noticed that for us, since we're just going through pay-per-view shows, I don't recall it happening yet, and this is the first time I remember seeing it. So I just thought that was noteworthy. Because again, it's so crazy to see such a he's 328 pounds or something, 6'10". He's a big guy, and he's up there walking the rope. I mean, I understand he's being braced by the other guy's arm, but still, it's neat to see a big guy like that walk across the top rope. So
yeah, I mean, especially as a kid, like we talked in the last episode about the his eyes rolling in the back of the head, being like that doesn't make any sense. How does that happen? But that move too, the rope walk. That's such a huge part of his character. It's just such a great spot, so unique and not like anything anybody else was doing back then, especially for a big guy to do that thing. And it's just crazy. It adds to his aura. It just feels kind of supernatural that he's able to balance himself up there like that. And yeah, it's an iconic spot that he does here. And so we're starting to see the evolution of all these things. I notice I'm waiting for him to do the choke slam. He's done a lot of choking.
He hasn't done that yet. Lots of choking, but he hasn't done the choke slam just yet. We'll get to that in a few matches from now, I believe. So
he's got the old the flying clothesline, that thing. That looks awesome every time he does it too. I think we see his first major botch in this match too. I had to rewind it like 3 times to try and figure out what exactly happens.
Yeah, and we mentioned this right before that. He has Hulk in one of those smothering things again, like the face claw smothering his mouth, where all he has to do is plug his nose and he'll die. He has him another one of those moves for, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, but again, the crowd doesn't care. They love it, man. San Antonio is just going nuts for it and, booing when we were supposed to boo and cheering for Hogan. But, yeah, right after that, they get up and you're right. They shoot each other into the ropes, and I don't know what happened. He falls or something.
Bobby Heenan says he must have hit a wet spot in the ring.
Heenan's so good.
Yeah,
but he falls, and
they don't know what to do for a second. Hogan and Taker are like,
They don't flub it up like what was that Elimination Chamber a few years ago when Mark Henry's thing opened up and it looked like everyone just had stage fright all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it wasn't as bad. But they didn't. But now Undertaker didn't break character though. I mean, he's not like his eyes aren't bulging out. He's not wigging out or anything. They just Hulk kind of leads him through it, and they just basically do the spot again. And he comes back and does the diving lariat, and the crowd jumps up off their feet and loves it. Even though he's a heel, they love that move.
Yeah.
And he goes for old school again right after that. But, of course, you can't ever do the same move twice.
No, not especially not on Hogan.
You're going to get tossed off. He gets tossed off. So
he gets tossed off, and then we head into the finishing sequence with Ric Flair coming out again to try and interfere and bringing the chair with him. And Hogan goes right after him and hits him with the chair without any provocation or anything like that.
Completely unprovoked. As a heel here, hitting him. And that takes out Jack Tunney as well, right?
Yep. He takes a bump off of it. And then, so last Survivor Series, Undertaker used the chair to beat Hogan. In this match, to beat Undertaker, Hogan has to use a chair shot, a shot from the urn, and then pouring the ashes out of the urn and throwing those in the Undertaker's face. So 3 foreign objects, essentially.
3 despicable acts of cheating as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Chair shot with the urn, because I think, is that Paul Bearer goes to hit him and he misses and hits Undertaker instead?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
and then Hogan dumps the ashes out, throws him, and then he beats him with like a schoolboy. He rolls him up.
Just rolls him up.
Yeah.
Which I guess, Undertaker was trying to hit Hogan with the chair and the urn, so I guess it's fair that he did that. But the ashes, man, that's dirty, man. Like, poured out. That could have been like Undertaker's mom or his granddad or something. We still don't know.
Week, every episode, commentary is like, "What's in the urn?" Nobody knows. So,
but it is ashes of some kind. Yep. We do learn that, so that's pretty neat. And I don't remember that. I remember we'll get to Royal Rumble '94, and I remember the urn gets unlocked, and some green smoke comes out of it at that point. And then at another point, there's just a giant light coming out of it. But this time, it was ashes coming out of there, and that's what gets Hogan the win here. Which is, they're definitely protecting Undertaker. That it takes that much.
That's my next comment was going to be, to
give him his first loss.
There's no big boot leg drop. It wasn't definitive. I mean, he beat him, 1, 2, 3, but it wasn't like a definitive. I beat you down. He had to. Hogan had to cheat to win, basically.
Right.
So, and again, as I mentioned last episode, Undertaker's kind of a pawn in this story between Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan here, and so it's not, he comes out without, I mean, it's a loss, but he doesn't look stupid in it, So
yeah,
he can still go up from here, and but again, immediately, did you notice this? Immediately after the match, and Hulk Hogan is awarded the belt, he hits Undertaker in the head with it and knocks Undertaker over the ring. So he's still not had enough. He's still say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and hit the Undertaker in the head with the belt. So Hulk Hogan's still not really the babyface we should all love. But
no, what a jerk.
Again, but it's all playing into that controversy around the title between Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. So it taken out of context, it's like, man, what a heel, but in context here, it does make sense. So
yeah.
So this is that controversial finish that leads to probably the greatest Royal Rumble of all time.
Oh, no question.
As some would say arguably, I would say not arguably.
Yeah.
It is the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. So.
And we're not going to cover it here just because, the Undertaker's in it, but it's not a super memorable, not very important Undertaker match. I believe he's...
And it doesn't lead to his WrestleMania match either.
No,
so
not at all.
He's just in it. So.
I think he gets eliminated by Hogan in that match. So a little comeuppance again for beating Hogan that one time. So Hogan gets more revenge, I guess.
Exactly.
But
win back, and his win back, brother.
We will get to his next match, the second match of the streak, WrestleMania 8. Against Jake the Snake Roberts. Really, I'm excited about that one. I'm excited to talk about Jake the Snake, especially after watching this Tuesday in Texas. I just was skipping along the chapters on the network, and I saw the end of his match with Randy Savage here, and it's just this great angle. Jake the Snake is just on fire as a heel here.
Yeah.
He had just put the snake onto Randy Savage's arm and had the snake bite Savage's arm. That's what led to their match. And Savage beats him here. And Savage is still wanting to get revenge after he wins, so he tries to get a chair, and the referee gets rid of the chair. He tries to grab the ring bell, and the ref throws the ring bell out. And by that time, Jake the Snake is woken up, and he DDTs Savage like 3 times. And Elizabeth comes out there and is crying, and he's just talking so much trash to Elizabeth, telling her to beg for him to stop. And he's not supposed to have the snake because all the reptiles have been banned from ringside from Jack Tunney. But he grabs the bag out from under the ring, but he doesn't show what's in the bag. And then he finally just slaps Elizabeth. He picks her up by the hair and he slaps her and knocks her down. And it's brutal. Incredible. The heat is off the charts, and he's just vile and disgusting, and he's on fire as a heel. So I'm excited to see him up against the Undertaker, and the Undertaker as a babyface for the first time, And
yeah, he will be a babyface at that point. Yeah,
giving some punishment to the dirty, dastardly Jake the Snake. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, sure will. It's a good match too.
Yep. But that's for another time, another episode. We're only covering one match every week, so we're hoping to keep these short and sweet, where you can just blow right through them. And they're longer than the matches themselves, but we're trying not to be like all the other wrestling podcasts out there that are 5 hours long, and just a couple wrestling fans having some fun, talking about one match every week, one legendary career. Like we said, short and sweet, and hopefully you enjoy it and you breeze right through them. You can follow us on Twitter at Talking Taker, and you can follow me at Alex Doriot. That's Doriot, and then you've got the Twitter list, Travis White, over there. You want to shoot a message to him, I'll pass that along for you. We appreciate all the support, all the listeners. I think we're over 200 followers now, so that's exciting, and hope to keep that growing. And tell your friends about it, spread the word. We do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And let us know what you think, what you thought of this match this Tuesday in Texas. What are your memories of that? And
if you were there, let us know.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Or if you saw the Undertaker British Bulldog, one of those rare
if you saw one of those
defenses.
3 matches in between. If you speak French and you can decipher the commentary on
I would love that. Yeah.
Please let us know what they say.
That'd be great.
So. But seriously, thank you everybody, and we are looking forward to doing more of these and having more listeners, and we appreciate all the support.
Yep.
Straight shoot, brother.
Rest in peace.